Good afternoon, Wolverines. This is Miss Hayden. Yesterday, you heard from your assistant principals as they answered many of your questions as it relates to coming back to school on Monday. Today, I wanted to go a little more in depth into our COVID policies, our visitor policies, and some of the everyday activities that we would have done last year that are going to be different this year. So, welcome back, and let's get to it. Are you coming back to brick and mortar or remaining virtual? That really is the question. If you have not made your choice by now, please make sure you do so that we can get accurate information and prepare. Okay, if you do not know how to do it, simply go to this video. All right, I have included a video. It tells you exactly how to let us know what your choice is. You will also be able to select your transportation at this tile as well. So please, if you have not done so already, I believe there's about 300 of you out there that still have not done it. Please go to that tile and let us know your choice. If you're staying home beginning Monday, and then later on in a few weeks, you decide you're ready to come back, you will still need to go right back into that make your choice tile. All right? Make your choice. Then what I would like you to do is email all of your teachers and your grade level assistant principal. Let them know the date you're returning. Remember, you need to give us at least 1 full week's notice. That's 5 school days notice before you return to school. You will not be allowed back on campus unless you have fully notified us 5 days in advance. You want to do this via email and go on to the Make Your Choice tile in the student portal. Okay? Once you inform your teachers and the grade level assistant principal, they will inform our data processor who will update your choice in SIS. If you are in school and you decide you want to go back to virtual, that is okay too. And at that point, you don't have to wait a week. You can simply go to the Make Your Choice tile on your student portal, make your choice. Still, please make sure you and your parent or guardian emails all of your teachers and your grade level assistant principal. Once again, they will email our data processor and let them know to update SIS. We will not be flip-flopping back and forth, okay? You're not able to do a hybrid schedule where on odd days you stay home and even days you come to school. That's not acceptable. You have to make a choice. Are you coming to school or are you staying home? And you have to give us notice, okay? All right, let's talk about if you're feeling ill in school. Let's say you come to school, all right, and you are suddenly not feeling well. Let's go through this PowerPoint together. So, any student who shows symptoms of COVID or illness will be sent to the clinic for an assessment by the nurse, okay? And if you click, you see this is a link right here. If you click on that, you'll be able to see the complete flow of what will happen from the nurse to the principal to the health department. Everything you ever wanted to know, it's there, all right? But the gist of it is this. The nurse will need to be informed when a student is coming for a COVID-related evaluation. The student will remain in the clinic while they're being examined, and then after the nurse's evaluation, if it's determined that the student needs to go home, they will be put in an isolation room until the parent picks them up. While a student is being assessed, so if we have a student in the clinic who is ill, okay, any other students that need to report to the clinic who may need medication or a less complicated question, all right, would wait outside the clinic. We will have 5 chairs seated 6 feet apart right outside the clinic, and our clinic liaison will come to assist those students. The students will not go into the clinic while we have someone ill in the clinic until it is completely sanitized, okay? So not to worry about that. Anytime a student goes to see the nurse for an illness-related issue, must bring all their supplies to the nurse with them. You want to bring your backpack, you want to bring your belongings if you're going to the nurse because you don't feel well. There is nothing worse than if you go to the nurse not feeling well, she believes you have symptoms that might be related to COVID, and then we need you to go back into the classroom to get your belongings. So that's not going to happen. Anytime a student needs to go to the nurse, just bring all of your belongings with you just in case, okay? And then the nurse will contact a parent or guardian to come pick you up. You will remain in an isolation room until a parent or guardian picks you up. At that point, the parent will arrive on campus. They'll check in with the main gate. The main gate will alert the nurse that the parent or guardian is here, and then the student will be escorted out to the parent to ensure they get into the car, okay? As you can see here, we do have our COVID-19 Student Policy 5.326, and this too is a link if you would like to go deeper into the policy. Let's go through this. This is extremely important. Students, parents, this is extremely important. All students must self-screen at home and not come to school for any illness, but not limited to. If you have symptoms of a fever 100.4 or higher, you may not come to school. Students may not come to school while using fever-reducing medication, Tylenol, ibuprofen, etc. If you have a cough, sore throat, or shortness of breath, diarrhea, headache, body aches, fatigue, loss of appetite or sense of smell, or any other flu-like symptom, stay home. We must comply with all directives related to health and safety, including but not limited to, let me hide this right here so we can see everything. Usage and passage through common areas and shared spaces. Okay, you have to stay distant from each other. You need to abide by social distancing guidelines, keeping a minimum of 6 feet apart when possible. Students, do your absolute best that when you're in the hallways or you're at lunch or you are not in a completely supervised situation in the classroom, I need you to be self-disciplined and be extremely mindful of social distancing. We cannot stay on top of 2,500 kids. There's a few of us and a lot of you. We need you to do your absolute best to abide by social distancing guidelines, okay? Be extremely mindful. Follow our revised school procedures that include the staggered arrivals and dismissal times, limited movement throughout campus. We don't want students running back and forth. We are not going to have student aides running passes and things of that nature. It is limited movement while we are on campus. Enhanced sanitation. We have sanitation stations all over the school. Keep sanitizing your hands. Wash your hands as much as humanly possible with soap and water. Bring sanitizer with you. When you think you've touched something that wasn't in your workstation, you might want to go ahead and sanitize your hands. Stay out of other people's workstations. Stay in your own workstation. Don't touch your face. Do what you can to not touch your face. Follow directions as it relates to wearing the facial coverings, our changes to our lunch procedures, again, increased hand washing, follow the bus procedures, okay? I know there's limited seating on the buses, so please make sure that you are following those procedures and follow procedures when you're dealing with any activity that has to do with this school. And avoid congregating when moving throughout the campus. You heard this yesterday from your assistant principals. There will be no lockers this year, so we're not stopping at lockers. We're not using the bathroom between classes. You need to use the bathroom during class, okay? So there's no reason to stop and chat. You will go directly to your next class when the bell rings or when you are dismissed from one class to another. There are responsibilities for the students and families as it relates to COVID-19, and I pulled this directly from our board policy. Please read it at your leisure. Students and parents must self-report a positive COVID-19 test to the school administrator no later than the following school day. The school administrator will then alert my supervisor to make a determination on any necessary cleaning of affected areas, as well as potential classroom and school closures that may be necessary. A student who tests positive must remain home and be enrolled in distance learning until the student tests negative for COVID-19. A student may return back to school once he or she tests negative for COVID-19 or remains isolated for 10 days and symptom-free, including no fever, 100.4 or higher in the previous 24 hours. A copy of the test results shall be provided to the school nurse for verification. A student who tests positive for COVID-19 must immediately provide administration with a list of everyone with whom they have been in close contact outside of regular classroom contact, including while riding the school bus and extracurricular activities. And that means having been within 6 feet of someone for more than 15 minutes. So let's think about when you're at lunch, okay? If you're walking home with somebody, if you're walking to school with somebody, okay? If for some reason, somehow, some way, you ended up on this campus, not during class time, for 15 minutes or longer, we have to know about it. There is contact tracing that is completely necessary, okay? Let's see. Staff will assist younger students with their contact list. Well, that's not our problem at the school anyway. Students' names shall not be revealed when notifying other students' parents or guardians and members of the school staff of a positive test, okay? If a student exhibits symptoms of COVID-19 as set forth in the CDC guidelines during the school day, he or she will be sent to the school clinic, and we already talked about what that process is. My responsibilities when it comes to this, and again, you can look back on that COVID response workflow, but I will notify my supervisor, risk management, maintenance and plant operations, school support services, and the environmental and conservation services department, along with communications, to request enhanced sanitation for the affected areas. District staff, working with the local Department of Health, will determine decisions on school closures that may be needed. Okay, so that's not my decision. I will end up providing them with all of the contact tracing for the school that I can come up with. They will be in contact with you, and they will work with you on quarantining and which classes and et cetera. My job is also to request from the student a list of every student outside of the classroom or school transportation with whom they have been in close contact, again, within 6 feet for more than 15 minutes. And then that list must be securely maintained. I cannot share that with anyone. School administration must notify parents and guardians of students and staff members identified of potential exposure, but I will not be revealing the student's name or teacher's name where there might have been an exposure. And then students will be sent home for a minimum of 10 days to self-isolate and to provide a negative COVID-19 test result. Face coverings. According to policy 5.326, all students must wear face coverings. Really, anybody on this campus must wear a face covering at all times. It needs to be 3 layers of breathable material, cloth. It has to have ear ties or loops so that students can be hands-free. There has to cover your nose and mouth and comply with CDC recommendations. Snug fit, but comfortably against the side of the face. Unacceptable face coverings include neck gaiters, bandanas with an open chin, anything with mesh material, anything with the valves or holes are not acceptable, and any inappropriate markings or distractions as noted in our dress code. Anything that wouldn't be appropriate on a shirt, hat, shorts, any clothing would not be appropriate also on the mask. Any exceptions or accommodations would have to go through a proper Section 504 team, and you would have to have verification from a licensed medical physician that you would not be able to wear a mask, and we would work with you on accommodations, but some sort of covering would still be required. When can you take off the mask? Well, after you're seated, oops, sorry, let's go back. After you are seated, when you are eating or drinking, you are staying 6 feet away from your peers, okay? And then you must put it back on as soon as you're done eating or drinking. So when you are out at lunch and that is your free time, we're giving that to you, you know, and we're also expanding the space that you can have for lunch, but we're trusting you. We need you to do the right thing. If you take that mask off to eat with your friends, stay 6 feet apart, okay? Respect your peers, stay 6 feet apart, eat your food. As soon as you're done, put your mask back on, all right? There's other school-related activities that may be outdoors where the removal of the mask might be in consideration. However, you have to be informed by your teacher that that is an appropriate activity. Otherwise, we are not removing the mask. Consequences for student noncompliance. Once again, this comes straight out of policy 5.326. Any student choosing not to adhere to the district's policy regarding the wearing of facial coverings or any other aspect of this policy will have consequences as outlined in the Student Code of Conduct and may be assigned to distance learning. No student will be discriminated against on the basis of disability. Visitor policy and early release. Okay. We have a very strict visitor policy this year, all right? Access to district policy or district property will be limited to current students and staff. Pre-approved parents and guardians by the principal or my designee 24 hours in advance. Vendors and contractors and invited guests with principal or designee approval at least 24 hours in advance. And until further notice, no other visitors will be permitted on district premises. Please do not come here expecting to have a parent conference right then and there, or needing to speak to the principal right then and there, okay? It has to be pre-approved 24 hours in advance. You can always email any one of us and we will get back to you right away. You can call any of our secretaries, the main office, any of the grade level support centers. Someone will talk to you on the phone. We can even have a face-to-face Google Meet, but we cannot allow visitors on campus. It is a very strict policy for the safety of our students, teachers, and faculty. All IEP and 504 meetings and any parent conferences will be held via Google Meet. Additional items as part of our visitor policy, board policy 2.065. Also, this is a link to it right here. So if you want to go in and read it in its entirety, you are more than welcome. Again, approval is required 24 hours in advance. Any visitor that does come, again, must self-screen. Please do not come to this school if you are feeling ill in any way or after taking fever-reducing medicines such as Tylenol, ibuprofen, Aleve, anything like that. You would have to report to the check-in location, explain the purpose of your visit, your name, who you're visiting. Have your temperature taken. If it's above 100.4, you're going to be asked to leave. You'll have to answer mandatory screening questions. And while on school property, you too, the visitor, will be required to wear a face covering at all times, covering your nose and mouth and complying with CDC recommendations. 3-layer breathable material with ties or ear loops. Again, no neck gaiters, open chin triangle bandanas, mesh material, valves, or holes of any kind, not acceptable. Please comply with all directives while on campus, especially with the usage of our hallways. Please stick to our one-way policies, abide by social distancing, keep a minimum of 6 feet apart from anyone on the staff, and avoid congregating when moving through district property. If you need a parent conference, here's the process. If you need to meet with a teacher, or you need to meet with all of your students' teachers. Here's how you go about it. Step 1, before all else, email the teacher to see if you can resolve the situation via email. Okay? All teachers have been asked to respond to parent emails within 48 hours. So please just email the teacher directly. Ask them your question. If the email exchange does not suffice, ask the teacher for a Google Meet conference during their planning or office hours. You can have a face-to-face Google Meet where you could probably work it out. Okay? Step 3, if you're unable to resolve or you need a conference with more than one teacher, reach out to your student's guidance counselor to schedule a Google Meet group conference after school. We're going to be running those very similarly to what we did last year when we had them on Thursdays right after school. We're going to try to stick to that, okay? And step 4, if the issue is still not resolved, then you will reach out to your child's grade level assistant principal, and they will include me in extraordinary circumstances, okay? So you will definitely reach out to that grade level assistant principal. And again, Google Meet is going to be the primary mode for all conferences. They will not be face-to-face in person. Early release procedures. This is another big question that many of our parents have. So, step 1, call the grade level support center as soon as you know that you will need to take your child out of school early, okay? Make sure the person you are sending to pick up your student is on our SIS contact list. And if at all possible, if you can do it, try to call us before 10 a.m. so we can kind of prepare, all right? However, we do know that emergencies arise. When you arrive, you're going to check in at the gate. Be prepared to show your license. The gate attendant will check your license against our list of early release students. Again, we create a list based on our parent phone calls, okay? The gate attendant will call the main office to have the student released. The main office will then call into the classroom and ask that teacher to release the student. The parent should meet the student in the driveway of the theater. The parent is not going to get out of the car, okay? You'll just keep your car on and wait in the driveway of the theater. And Miss Deb or Mr. Murphy will be there to check with you, okay? Once the student comes out, our staff members will ensure the right student gets in the right car, all right? And then you'll be on your way. Now, Monday morning, how do I know where my classes are? This is one of the biggest questions of our 9th graders and new students, okay? So you're gonna go to your SIS student portal, okay? All students should be doing this right now. Go to your student portal. You're gonna click on your schedule. So here's an example. So if you're in your portal, click on class schedule and you'll see your schedule. Here's an example, all right? And your room numbers are right over here, all right? You probably want to go ahead and take a screenshot of that on your phone so that when you get to school, you have your schedule handy. We're not going to be handing out paper schedules because we don't want to exchange paper. So everyone has this. If you don't have a phone, if you can make a copy of it at home, or parents, if you can make a copy of the schedule for your student, please do so, okay? I will have staff members all throughout the campus, along with our link crew leaders throughout the campus with student locators. So if a student is completely lost or they lost their schedule, they'll be able to look up where they're supposed to go at any given period, all right? But students, get a screenshot of your schedule right off of SIS. Again, you're going to your class schedule, get a screenshot. Your room numbers are right over here. I suggest you watch the tour, okay? Coach H and Mr. Rakes and all the assistant principals and deans and staff members are creating a tour for you so you understand where the buildings are and where you should go, all right? Those of you that have been with us a while, keep in mind we have different traffic patterns, all right? One-way hallways, so pay attention to the signs. Student responsibilities, we went through this yesterday with your assistant principals. Again, you must wear your mask at all times. I cannot emphasize that enough. The mask has to go over your nose. We're not wearing our masks under our nose. Students, you have to wear your ID at all times. All 10th, 11th, and 12th graders will be getting their IDs on Monday during third period. So if you lost your ID from last year, no biggie, all right? You'll get a new one on Monday, third period. If you are new to our school in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, we have a process for you. You'll hear about it in class that you'll be getting IDs over the first couple of days you're here, okay? Freshmen will be working on your IDs the second week we're back, okay? And then as students begin to report, before you report to school, we'll have you getting your ID before you go into class, okay? But for the masses in these first couple of weeks, again, 10, 11, 12, you're gonna get updated IDs from your third period classes on Monday. Freshmen, we will work on you all of next week and the week after in a scheduled process. Students, parents, do me a favor. Please try to send your student with hand sanitizer, with possibly a Ziploc baggie of wipies, okay? You definitely want your student to start being responsible for cleaning their work area. We have wipes and we have sanitizer. I don't know how long it's going to last, and I don't know if it's going to end up being back ordered. So if we have more students than not carrying hand sanitizer and bringing wipes to school, a great practice is when you get here, don't trust that the person before you wiped down their desk area before you. When you get to your class, you take out a wipey and you wipe down your workstation. You wipe down your chair, your desk, and anything that you put your hands on that's going to be a part of your workstation. And then don't leave your workstation. If you have to go to the restroom, that's fine. And then when you go to the restroom, make sure you wash your hands. Maybe use the paper towel from the restroom to open the classroom door, and then dump that paper towel in the garbage, okay? Then when you get back to your desk, I would squirt yourself with hand sanitizer one more time, all right? Students must wear their IDs, bring hand sanitizer. I would suggest bringing your own lunch. However, we will have lunch for free for students, grab and go, at 3 different locations throughout the campus. You definitely want to bring your own school supplies. You cannot share school supplies with other students because you can't guarantee it's sanitized. You need to bring your own school supplies. Make sure you bring your own calculator for your math classes. If you don't have a calculator, you will be able to borrow one, but again, you're going to need to sanitize that calculator because you don't know who had it before you. Bring your Chromebooks. Every student should have a Chromebook. Every student. We have enough Chromebooks for every student that is coming back to this campus. So if you have not picked up your Chromebook already, that's okay. Email Coach H and we will set up a time for you to pick up your Chromebook. I believe there's only about 100 of you left that still don't have your Chromebooks to start on Monday, okay? Email Coach H and we'll get that situated. If you don't have it by Monday, we'll have a plan. You'll have your Chromebook on Monday, all right? You want to make sure your Chromebook is charged before you come to school. You need to get in the practice of charging that Chromebook before you go to bed, all right? And make sure I can't believe I'm saying this, but make sure you bring headphones or AirPods with you to school because there might be videos you need to watch or something like that on your Chromebook. I can't believe I'm saying it. Bring headphones. And again, follow directions. Class change, what to expect. Hallways are going to be one way. Follow the signs. Masks and IDs at all times. No lockers, no restrooms. They're going to be locked during class change. You'll be able to use the restroom during class on a rotating basis. Dismissal between classes is going to be staggered 2 minutes apart by room. Tardies will be recorded in extreme cases. As long as you're walking where you need to go, if you're not going to be late, okay? And there will be admin and staff throughout the campus to encourage you to get where you need to go, or if you're lost and you need assistance, okay? Again, we talked about lunch. 2 lunches. We've expanded the lunch area. There's picnic tables throughout the campus. We are working on a fundraiser right now to order umbrellas and additional picnic tables. So if you check out our social media and you'd like to donate, that would be fantastic. There's going to be 3 grab-and-go sites throughout the campus. And again, you can take your mask off to eat, but as soon as you're done, put it back on. Try to make sure you are distanced from your friends when that mask is off to eat, okay? Let's see, classrooms. Your desks are going to be about 6 feet apart from the middle of the desk to the middle of the next desk, going forward, backward, and to the sides. Stay in your space. Don't leave your space or enter into anyone else's space without permission. Respect people's space. And again, a seating chart is going to be required in all classes every day for contact tracing. Overflow rooms. If we have more students right now, it's really not going to be much of a problem. Okay, but as students begin to trickle in, if I have more students in a classroom than I have seats for, then we're going to have to start a rotating system for students to go to the overflow room. I am never going to allow more students into a classroom than I have seats for. We are already set up for 6 feet apart. We are not going to break that. All right. And it will be a rotation. No one student should be in the overflow room any more than anybody else. Okay, overflow rooms will be assigned by area of the campus, and more info will be to come as we start needing them. Okay, restrooms, again, that's going to be a rotation during class time. We are working on a system of virtual passes and disposable paper passes. We will be scanning IDs at the restrooms for contact tracing purposes, and no more students will be allowed in the restroom than we have stalls. Okay, and then real quick, the whole one-way thing is only applicable during class change. During class, when there's only a few people in the hallway, not a big deal. You don't have to follow those signs because I want you to get to the restroom and hurry up and get back to class. Okay, you're capable of social distancing during class. It's really tough during class change. Okay. And dismissal, we will have a staggered dismissal once again to minimize hallway traffic. We'll be calling walkers, student car drivers, buses, and parent pickup. If you're interested in our custodial cleaning guidelines, you can click on this link and you can see the enhanced cleaning procedures of our custodians. And if you need any more information about our about COVID policies in Palm Beach County, you can click on this COVID guiding document. If you want to learn about tested positive protocols for employees, you can look on this document. And again, here is our policy 5.326 for families and students. And that's all I have, folks. The last slide is who to contact. If you have any questions about anything related to Wellington High School, coming back to school, working virtually, whatever it might be, you can find the people you need to talk to on this page, okay? You can also click on the link right here. It takes you directly to the Google Doc version of this page. Students who are remaining virtual, I continue to ask you, please keep your cameras on, okay? When kids come back to school on Monday, you have to keep in mind that the teachers are going to have students directly in front of them, and they're going to have students virtually. You need to have your cameras on so that your teachers can see you while they're looking at their students. You will not be facing the students. The screen of you on the grid, on the Brady Bunch grid, is not facing the students in the class. It is facing the teacher so that she knows or he knows who he's talking to. Okay? A teacher cannot confirm that you're in class if your camera is off. Okay? If you want to be counted for attendance, I'm telling you, you need to have your camera on. Okay? So that you have a good classroom experience. Cameras on. Stay on task. Get there on time. And when you're ready to come back to school, we can't wait to have you. Remember, I need a week's notice. Okay? That's all I have for you this evening. I hope you enjoy your tour with Coach H and all of our staff members here at Wellington High. On behalf of everyone, I'm so excited you're coming back, and Go Wolverines.